Marshall with Rescufy, and thanks everybody for being here, and thanks for the opportunity to do this tonight. But I'm going to start off by just kind of asking everybody to kind of imagine that maybe you're leaving here tonight, you're walking to your car, you're walking to your home, and all of a sudden you kind of start feeling real itchy, and you got some hives coming out, and you start to feel nauseous, and real bad GI issues. All of a sudden your throat starts to close up, and it's getting really hard to breathe, and then all of a sudden you're unconscious. You can't do anything to get help, and you don't know if anyone with you knows that you need to get help. You don't know if people are just walking by thinking that you're someone that they don't want to mess with because you're unconscious on the turf for whatever reason. So that's anaphylaxis. That's what happens with anaphylaxis. It goes through your body basically and causes your organs to shut down. Well, what causes that to happen? It's the result of severe allergies. It can come from bee stings, it can come from different substances that your body's exposed to, it can come from food allergy, anything that causes your body to go and overreact to something that happened. So what are you supposed to do after you go through anaphylaxis? There is an anaphylaxis action plan, and so the process is you're supposed to take epinephrine. Anyone who has a severe food allergy or any kind of reaction like this, people who have asthma, are supposed to carry an EpiPen with them at all times because you don't know when you're going to be exposed by accident. You avoid everything that you can, but it's impossible. So if exposure happens, you're supposed to take your EpiPen, you jab it in your leg. It takes about 10 seconds to get all the medication in your leg. Somehow, while you're in the process of hopefully not passing out, maybe passing out, you're supposed to call 911, tell them everything that's wrong, tell them where you're at. You're supposed to reach out to your emergency contacts and tell them the same information. You're supposed to communicate with everybody around you. Hey, everybody, I'm going into anaphylaxis. I might pass out. I might die. And you're supposed to lay down and get comfortable, put your legs up so that the blood flows to your organs in the right way, the medication is distributed appropriately. There's too much going on, and you're in not necessarily the best state of mind to be able to really be able to go through all of that. So where did my solution for these problems come from? So my son is 5 years old, almost 6. He has a severe tree nut allergy, and as his dad, I'm always trying to think of ways that I can protect him and be prepared that the worst happens, that I can actually go and do something and take care of him in the best way possible. So I saw an email. I work at Penn, I work with the School of Medicine. I saw an email come through that was a call for ideas for AppITUP, which is through the UPstart program of tech transfer at Penn. And I thought, this is my shot, this is my chance. It was a call for ideas for apps that could be turned into a business. And it was sent out to faculty, staff, and students. So I submitted my idea, was literally sitting there watching TV with my wife at 11:45. She's like, hey, aren't you supposed to submit that? I was like, yeah. So I typed it in, put it in, and got an email a couple weeks later that I had actually been selected as one of the 10 finalists. What the process was that I see some of the people who were involved in the process here right now, but they submitted the ideas, almost 200 of them, to be reviewed by venture capitalists, and they evaluated those ideas and said, these are the most likely to be a successful business. And then so those 10 ideas were asked to come and present to developers, and so 5 developers each chose a project to develop a working prototype for, and so we came out of that with a working prototype. We were selected as one of those 6. We went back again and presented to the venture capitalists with those other finalists, and we were selected as the winner. So we've been working with UPstart through Penn. We're very grateful for that opportunity. Canada Software has developed our prototype. We're actually working with them as our technology partner at this point in time. We have that working prototype. We will have a beta released within a few weeks, beginning of July. And then by end of July or early August, we will be live on the Google Play Market with Android. iOS will be coming up shortly after that. So what really is this problem, or how big of a deal is this? So statistically speaking, I saw that there are about 122 people RSVP'd for tonight. So 15 or 16 of you likely are at risk for anaphylaxis. And that problem's only growing over the past about 10 years. It's grown by 50% in children. So about 2 kids in every classroom deals with something that could cause anaphylaxis. So, in the United States, 50 million people are at risk for it. Internationally, you roll in asthma and allergies, you're looking at 1 billion people that are really at risk and have to carry epinephrine and might go into some sort of situation like this. So what do we need to do? We need to compress the time that it takes to actually spread the word and go through the anaphylaxis action plan. We need to create redundancy so that, other people know what's happening, not just you, and so there are more people trying to get you help than just yourself at a time that's really difficult to do that. We have to increase accuracy. We need to share your medical information in an appropriate way with the first responders so they know how to treat you and they know how to hand you off the appropriate way to the emergency room. And then, you got to give a sense of calm, a little peace of mind during this process, because enough crazy things are happening. If you can have something that you can rely on and trust in this, you'll be able to get through it easier. And at the end of it, we want to save lives. I want to keep people like my son and other people that deal with that problem from having to go through that. So what does Rescufy do? Rescufy is an app. As I mentioned, we're on Android right now and almost out. So it's with one touch of a button. I'll go ahead and tell you about it while I'm fumbling around and plugging in my phone here so I can actually do a demo for you. It is one touch of a button. It actually sits on your lock screen, and the product that will come out on Google Play will send a text message to 911, a text message to your emergency contacts, and call 911 on speakerphone, all with one touch of the button. So all of those different steps that you're supposed to notify all these different people and do all these different things, in addition to letting people around you know what's happening because you've got 911 on speakerphone now, I'm just getting tweeted at right now. You have now accomplished that by just hitting one button that sits on the lock screen of your phone. You don't have to unlock your phone. You don't have to fumble around with phone numbers and contacts and typing out a text message. So it all just simplifies that whole process. All right. Pardon my... All right. So as you can see, sits on your lock screen right here. And with just all you do is slide up this emergency window so you don't have to worry about bumping it while you're in your pocket and having the paramedics show up. I actually have it set to go to my other phone. So proof of concept, we don't need actual paramedics or anything like that coming here tonight. So with that one touch, now I mentioned this is the prototype, the full version that we'll be beta testing. There's the call to 911 right there. All three steps will be included in the beta version and the version that goes to Android. And then so if you even go to the app here, I'll give you a little sample of the text message. This will all be activated by one button as opposed to the three that you see here. It simplifies the process even more and makes it just more streamlined and easier for the user to use. And once again, the whole idea of this is making it simplified and a quick process for people to get help. So while it's sending the text message, it's a nice chance to say thanks again to Kanda and everybody here for doing this and for having us here. So I have one bar right now. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Hate to say it, but you're in a state of shock right now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but the message has been sent, right? So everybody now is receiving this text message that I'm in shock, and you can see everything that's here. So it has the pre-entered medical information, has my emergency contacts that I've put in there, and it also has my geolocation and the address of where I'm at right now. So it's all of the information is there for 911 to be able to get the appropriate help to me. My emergency contacts have this information, including my address. So if my son or somebody with my son as babysitter were to be dealing with the same thing, I would get this text message and I would know I can call 911 and I can tell the paramedics to go to the address and the geolocation there for him to be able to get help. So, other things that we're looking at once we are out, we're focused on the anaphylaxis. Getting all these tweets. We're focused on anaphylaxis because we want to be deliberate in our approach. There are competitors out there that treat a number of different emergency response opportunities, things like ICE and a number of other things that will call 911. They'll do bits and pieces of this, but they're very general. They're not focused. They're not solving a particular problem. So you can even imagine beyond anaphylaxis, we'll be able to easily adapt this app to work with other disease lines, diabetes and people who are on anti-clotting agents and people who are dealing with heart problems. So the imagination will take you in all those different directions. On top of that, anaphylaxis and food allergies are quite a big issue right now with a lot of people, because it's rolling through the states right now that states are mandating that schools require epinephrine to be stocked in the schools. And so other opportunities that we have are an enterprise product that we're working on building a plan for. We've also spoken with, we've been approached by the largest epinephrine auto-injector marketer, and we've spoken with technology companies as well. So this is something that really, it's a simple tool that can help solve a big problem and really go through, hopefully to save some lives. So with that, I will open it up to questions. The question is, are first responders getting a full healthcare record? There's a full healthcare record can be very long. That's something that you could enter free form, but what the users are prompted to input are things that are related to their condition, what types of allergies they have, what other medical conditions we need to be aware of, what other medications they are on, and so that information is captured in the app and is able to be shared with the first responders at that point. So at launch, we're looking at direct to consumer with we're looking at a $4.99 price point that's got to be tested. As I mentioned, we're in the process of launching on beta, so a lot of those details are not set yet. However, there's interest in white label that's been evident for us so far in a number of different ways, and that is another model that will be able to be replicated to other disease lines and other medications. Now, so the question is, have we considered adding a recorded voice that would move them through the process? That's something we've thought about adding as a feature, but the priority is the contact to 911. So it can't necessarily be playing over the call with 911. We are looking to add some educational pieces and some training pieces within this app. But the important part of us is to get the real core functionality out there and usable right away. So that piece of it at this point would conflict with the call to 911, but that's definitely something that we've looked at. Also in the front? Absolutely. So the question is, have we thought about taking it in other directions with something that's a car accident or some other kind of emergency? Yes, is the short version of that answer. That is a very general approach, because that would be the type of app that would need to be applicable to just about anything. And our focus is to be able to solve specific problems. There could be the opportunity to create one for car accidents specifically, but then you start to go into, well, maybe we should make one for robberies and trips and falls. But there is a general application potential down the road, but the best use of our resources and our time is to focus on these really well-defined markets that we can go and approach one by one and speak to them and solve their individual problem. Yes. Yeah. So the question is, have we thought about adding it? Hey, yeah, I felt you coming up behind me. Now, would you consider it? Yeah. So would we consider being able to actually include a full medical record, whether it's via the app or via an external website, something along those lines? And that's something that we have considered and something that we would like to be able to do. There's a number of regulatory pieces, and yeah, well, there's a longer process of really getting to market with something like that, but that's something that we would love to be able to build into it. It just has to be at the appropriate time. Timing, so everyone has a real sense of where we're at, where we're coming from. The call for nominations I was talking about came out last November. We actually found out that we won in March, and it was announced at an event right here. And so we've been plowing full speed ahead for the past 3 months, and really excited that we're hopeful that we'll be able to show some success at the next AppITUP competition. So anybody from Penn, think of your ideas now. But that will happen again in November.
Maybe one last question.
All right.
You give a GPS location. Does that mean that your GPS is turned on whenever the app is on, or you turn that on when you hit the button?
So,
how does that affect the battery life?
So those are great questions for my developer. However, I do know that there is some balance to be made here between iOS and Android. The Android version of everything gives us a lot more flexibility and the ability to set up a lot more permissions ahead of time as opposed to in the actual app. So those are some of the things that we're working through with iOS right now. But I don't know the specific answer to that question. We'll be happy to follow up with you. But
Great.
all right. Well, thank you, everybody.